We are off from Anglesey to the Point Lynas Lighthouse, which is on the north of the island, but en route, which is normally on the A5025 coast road, there is a lovely cemetery, if you can call a cemetery lovely, that has a unique memorial to a lighthouse keeper. And this is the junction that you take to the B5111, and eventually you end up at this cemetery on your right. The headstone to this keeper's grave is a very tall lighthouse, all done in nice white stone. And you can't miss it. As soon as you enter the gate, you'll see it off to your left. This sign I thought amusing, but then that's just my sense of humour. The no dumping means rubbish, not bodies, by the way. The inscription reads, "In loving memory of Thomas Cunningham, the dearly beloved husband of Mary Jane Cunningham, 41 Mona Street, Amlwch, who departed this life August the 17th, 1910, aged 70 years. The deceased was for upwards of 30 years a lighthouse keeper in Shanghai, China." And now we carry on with our journey to Point Lynas Lighthouse. You can either retrace your steps back to that main road, the A5025, or carry on past the cemetery and wind your way through Amlwch, heading for Llaneilian. Point Lynas was established in 1779, but the current tower was built in 1835. The light is a white occulting every 10 seconds. The fog signal when videoed was a nautiphone, one blast every 45 seconds. This has now been discontinued, no foghorn at Point Lynas now, and it was automated in 1989. So that's when the keepers were removed. This was videoed during the early 1990s. I myself was a keeper at Point Lynas Lighthouse from 1983 to 1987. My accommodation was in the east wing of the lighthouse grounds in a one-bedroom flat with a kitchen and a bathroom, and that was it. One story that I recall from when I was a keeper there, so names better not be named. I don't think this would have been condoned by Trinity House. We had need of one of the technicians from Trinity House to come up to work on the station for about a week. The following was told to me by the person that came to do the work. He said he presented himself to the principal keeper at the station, whom he informed that he was going to go look for digs in the village, whereupon the principal keeper told him, "Don't be silly, we can put you up and look after you, come and stay with us." So that's what he promptly did. So for the whole week he was there, down for breakfast. In came the keeper's wife. "What would you like?" "Yes." "Would you like 1 egg, 2 eggs, more bacon?" More coffee, yes, anything else? And then they had an evening meal and all the rest of it. Lovely. He had a wonderful time. He said they really looked after him. Then on the final day, the final morning, at breakfast, he had his usual full English, or full Welsh it would be there. And then at the end of it, he was just getting up to say goodbye and thank them very much, when the principal keeper's wife came in holding a piece of paper which he put down in front of him, which was an itemised bill for everything he'd eaten and the cost of the stay and everything else. And to say he was shocked was an understatement. He told me he would never do that again. The other tale that I can recall, we were getting lots of alarms on our automatic alarm panel inside the tower. And several times we'd had people coming up and they could never fix it. No sooner had they gone and the alarms would be back. Eventually we got this one chap who convinced us he would find the problem and cure it. And lo and behold, a couple of days later, when he left, the place was silent. No more alarms. A couple of weeks later, we were inside the tower checking the systems to make sure everything was working perfectly. And when we tested one of the systems, no alarm came up, which it would normally do. We then discovered inside this panel the reason we were no longer getting any alarms was before the guy had left, he had cut through the cable for the speaker. So any alarms would no longer be sounded. We never asked for that chap again. An occulting light is a rhythmic light in which the duration of light in each period is longer than the total duration of darkness. In other words, it is the opposite to a flashing light, where the total duration of darkness is longer than the duration of light.
shipyards, you know, falling through that gap between the lens and that little catwalk thing. There wasn't, and there's that trap door, and if you forgot to put that down after you, and you're walking backwards, you could easily bloody slip down there. It was completely farcical project. Dean's talking about safety things in kind of situations like that. Now, when it was they used to have two IOBs in there, didn't they?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So, I mean, what happens if you're lighting the IOB up top and the one down below is flared up, had a backflash? I mean, there must have been bloody flames roaring up from you.
That's true, yeah. And nasty edges.
No. Yes, some of them are a bit nasty with the chunks out of them.
Whereabouts those finger marks?
They're on the bottom section, bottom section.
There's quite a bit of paint on here too, you notice?
On the prisms?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see green
Right
paint.
up at the top there, I see some down here. Those contract painted on.
Blue one and white ones are sort of the damp.
That's come on nicely.
Ah, has done now.
A pilot station was established on this point in 1766 to guide ships entering and leaving Liverpool, with an associated lighthouse added in 1779. The present building was built in 1835. It was built and managed by the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board, but didn't come under the care of Trinity House until 1973. We've just walked along the southern edge of the Lighthouse Accommodation area. Now we're coming along the eastern side, and that building there and the windows is the Eastern Keeper's quarters you can hire for holiday rental, and that window was my little digs at the time, but now is incorporated in the dwellings. The jetty you see out to the right there, where the pilots used to board their boat to go out to the tankers that needed to be piloted in and out of Liverpool. This lighthouse has the unusual feature of having the lantern at ground level. A similar one is at the Great Orme over in Llandudno, built by the same company, Mersey Docks and Harbour Board. A telegraph station was established in 1879. They had a lookout and telegraph room above the lantern. The white building down on the headland there was the ex-fog signal building, and the one next to it was a temporary structure that some part-time Coast Guards were doing to fill in for the Coast Guard service that had cancelled all these Coast Guard lookouts everywhere. These were purely volunteers trying to cover the coasts. The mast you see in these pictures was the radio beacon mast. It used to send out a Morse signal to shipping yachts and big ships so they could lock in on it and get a bearing. Early navigation system. Along this stretch you are looking at Amlwch in the distance. We're now walking down the west facing wall of the Lighthouse Accommodation area, and we're now coming up to the other dwelling that you can hire for holiday accommodation, the West Keeper's quarters.